Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hello, we're here. It's time for more BumbleKast because we literally can't stop it. Like, it's physically impossible for us to not do this show anymore, I think, Ian. I don't know. I don't think we will ever escape.
We have too many questions to answer that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're going to start off with this one from Allison S. Who would win in a fight, Big or El Gran Gordo? Actually, scratch that. Why can't legends be friends? Okay, prompt. They fight someone from Dragon Ball. I don't know. I've only watched one episode, but I know the characters are overpowered.
Nah, they go up against Mr. Satan. That'd be great. That would be exquisite.
Yes, indeed.
El Gran Gordo and Mr. Satan trying to one-up each other in just pure showmanship, and Big just kind of off in the corner.
Yeah.
Watching. No. That's what it has to be. It's a tag team match. El Gran Gordo and Big the Cat versus Mr. Satan and Fat Boo.
Well, okay. Yeah, Fat Boo.
And you've got the posturing between Gordo and Mr. Satan, but when the actual fight throws down, here comes Fat Boo, and Big just like palms his face and slams him to the ring. You can't hurt my friend. I'm not going to attempt a Majin Buu. I can't get my register that high, but you know what he would say, something about candy. And then they're just like tearing up continents as they're Z fighting all over the place.
Of course.
That would be great.
Why is he called Mr. Satan? Is there
it made sense at the time?
Is there some kind of lore for that, or is that's just his name?
I just think that's what Toriyama chose for him.
That's just his last name.
If there is a reason, I'm not aware of it, but it does make his daughter's name all the funnier.
It's because it's a pun. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just silly. Toriyama, legend. Rest in peace. Andrew D has a question. Something that still fascinates me to this day is the X robot from the Sonic X comics. It seems to be a robotic doppelganger of multiple characters instead of just one character. With that in mind, how would you go about introducing a similar concept of a doppelganger of multiple characters in one without making any other current doppelgangers irrelevant? For example, a robot with super speed among other characters' powers runs the risk of making Metal Sonic irrelevant, similar to how Metal Sonic made the Mecha Sonic series irrelevant. And an organic character with super speed among other character powers runs the risk of making Shadow or Surge irrelevant. Anyone pushed aside seems to need a new role to fill, like how Mecha Sonic Mark II is now a protector of Scrapnik Island, and a character who could potentially already fill this role, G-Merle, seems to not take advantage of this much.
Yeah, that's a problem, and I don't know how to approach it myself. Like, if that was the marching orders, you have to make another multi-powered antagonist to counter the core cast. I'm honestly not sure how to do that without retreading old ground. That's Gemerl again, or that's Emerald again, or Metal Sonic in some incarnations, and so on and so forth. So, also, Tracy Yardley came up with that story arc in that robot design, and I don't think you can top that design. That is such a cool freaking design. Mad props to Tracy for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've hit all the key points of why it's so difficult. So I have like one back pocket scenario for a power copying antagonist, but I'm not really eager to pitch it because I don't know what to do with them after that. Once they've told their story, then what do you do with them? Because then that's just another one on the pile. And the power creep is already kind of crazy. It would overload the cast with too many plot beats we've already seen. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. And until I do, I wouldn't really want to pitch or pursue it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Next up, we have a question for you, Kyle.
All right.
This one comes from Ann Tails. Question for Kyle. You often refer to the fact that a character has two hands when discussing different ships. What do you mean by this? I assume you're referring to the fact that they can hold both their partner's hands during long, romantic, polyamorous walks on the beach, but feel to correct me with that as much detail as you'd like. Okay, number one, and Tails, how dare you set him up for this? And number two, Kyle, remember, we're a family show.
Well, I mean, what I'm referring to is it's a lewd act, but holding hands. It's you can hold hands with multiple characters. That's the great thing about fiction. It's fictional. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be like this when it can be like this.
Excellent answer. Let's move on.
Arc Beetle has a question. How would be a story where lesbian Mobian heroines fight lesbian Mobian villainesses? Well, they all have two hands.
It would be the same as straight Mobian heroines versus straight Mobian villainesses, straight dudes,
or any other,
gay dudes,
or any other orientation in between.
Like, who are the characters? What do the villains want to achieve? Why is that in opposition to the heroes? How are the heroes going to counter them?
They just want to kiss, Ian. Come on.
What are the interpersonal things here? Who are they? Not what are they?
Why are they? Why is this show? That's really the question you should be asking.
The answer is desperation.
Come on, Ian. It's Pride Month. Let them kiss.
Oh, I understand. So, all right, fine. I'm sorry. I just want to treat everybody equally and as people.
Well, there's your problem. And everyone can equally kiss.
Yes, hands for everybody.
Dodge these hands. OzJam has a question. Coincidences, a tool used in narratives, often used to help move the plot in a story forward quickly, as to avoid any unnecessary details. But if it's used too much, it can make the story feel unnatural, depending on the genre. How do you view the use of coincidences in narratives, and how do you apply it to a story that hinges on coincidences to drive the plot? For a better example of what I mean, in SA2, Sonic is mistaken for Shadow by Gun due to their similar appearances.
I don't feel like the plot SA2's plot hinges on the coincidence. It's more of a plot beat. The greater plot hinges on Shadow's history and Maria and Gerald and the cover-up and blah, blah, blah. It's the plot point that is the coincidence. To make an entire story hinge on coincidences as in multiple, I feel like that could work if it was farcical, like if it's kind of laid out before you, but if it were played straight, I don't know if that would necessarily work. Unless it's more kind of like a thriller type of thing where everything's falling into place and that shouldn't happen. So why is it doing that? Bring a sense of conspiracy to it. So maybe that could work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Personally, when I'm looking at whatever I'm writing and things are falling into place, I try to ask myself, does it make enough sense that these events could lead to this point, that these characters would reasonably be within these situations, or is it contrived? Is it there for the sake of the plot? And if it feels contrived, I try to think of another direction. Yes, it's coincidences work out sometimes, but I feel like in general, it's more interesting if there is a purpose for things to happen or characters to meet or what have you. So I don't feel like I actively think of coincidences as a plot device, but I am aware of plot contrivances and try to avoid them unless that's the point, is to be contrived, and that's usually for funny's sake.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, here's a question from Balefire Bombshell. I know it's been addressed before, but I'm still a bit confused on the matter, so tell me which of the two I'm closest to in regards to what Surge and Kit are, quote-unquote, under the hood. T-800 Terminator-style self-contained endoskeletons, or Cyberpunk 2077-style sum of their parts?
Okay, first off, that name is amazing.
Balefire Bombshell? Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah, dude. That's like a metal band name. That's like a RPG attack. That's freaking awesome. Love that name. Number two, never played Cyberpunk, so I don't know the rules of that universe necessarily or how their cybernetics work, but I would liken Surgeon Kit more to like the T-800s if we're going to make that parallel.
All right, here's one from KB. Charmy just said, Skibbity Ohio Riz. How do SBO and Vector react to such language?
Oh, they have no idea what it means. They think it's some kind of code. Amy's been that Charmy's been brainwashed. They're going to get to the bottom of this. They're going to investigate.
Amy?
The other character that ends with the MY.
No. Who lets Charmy onto YouTube Kids? No. Does Ohio even exist in Sonic's world?
Vector's out on the street shaking down thugs trying to get information. What is this skibbing it? Meanwhile, SBO's on the computer going down the virtual rabbit hole. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Really, in my area.
SBO, no. Please do not go to Ohio, SBO. There's nothing there except Scott the Wasp. Don't go there. Chaos Sonic 1 has a question. Spoilers for X-Men 97. Sonic and the group have to take on the Prime Sentinels, aka humans with nanotechnology that make them become Sentinels. And Bastion. How do they beat Bastion and his Prime Sentinels? Sonic goes super, I assume.
That's the easy answer.
I know. It's too easy.
Although Supersonic versus like full winged Bastion, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
That would actually look really sick. I mean, the Prime Sentinels are hardy, but I don't think they're like, at least as far as the cartoon showed, any more dangerous than like your high-end badniks. Like certainly threatening. Absolutely. But not anything beyond what most of the Sonic cast has faced at some point. So I imagine they'd hold their own. Give Tails enough time to pull a Hank McCoy and figure out how to turn off the signal.
Yeah. And
it works on all the Prime Sentinels, but not Bastion. And that's why we got our Supersonic fight in there. So yay, they'd be fine. It'd work out.
Yeah. Eventually. Here's one from Cherry Hearts You. Polka Dollars, Gil, Eddies, Cap, Zenny, Credits, Buckazoids. Tons of games have funny fictional currencies. What if the Sonic franchise had one? Since, of course, there's no money in Sonic. What silly name would you call it? And no, you can't use rings or any other existing collectibles. New currency from scratch. Well, we had Mobiums and Sad AM and Archie.
I'd be tempted to pitch that just for nostalgia's sake.
Bring back Mobiums.
I mean, that's not a good idea. It doesn't match anything within the lore now, but yeah, what can I say?
Well, there's a lot of things that don't match the lore now, to be fair, but, you know.
I don't know. What would even be the currency if not rings? You know, maybe the little crystals you gathered up in Sonic Runners. May it rest in peace.
Chili dollars?
Gotta spend some chili dough. I'll get some cheddar cheese along with that chili dough. Sonic, none of that is witty. I know, but he's making me say these things. Curse that Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly my Sonic is slipping into Troy McClure. No, Sonic, do not be Troy McClure. I would not do that to you. I'm sorry.
No. No.
Emerald dollars? No, that's awkward. It's all get out. I don't know. We saw dollar bills flying around in the security vault. They all had Sonic's face on it, but maybe that was like commemorative money for all the times he saved the planet. Go spend you some Son bucks.
Egg yen. That's a good one. I like that one.
Stack of Son coins. Sonic coins. Nah.
No. Edge bucks? Oh, man. I don't know.
Everybody just uses tap. That's why we don't see any money.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
If they ever did do something, though, please don't call it credits. Everything's credits. I hate credits.
No credits.
Credits.
No credits. Don't put Ian's name on this. No credits.
Welcome to our new and unique sci-fi universe that is rich with all sorts of ideas. We deal in credits.
Yes.
Hail, hero. Shall you buy mead with the king's credits? No.
I'll buy
drachmas, something. Come on.
Yeah, I guess. I still like Buckazoids. That's a really good name for money. I'm jealous. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. Starline has been isekai'd into a real-life petting zoo where he's immediately surrounded by excited small children on a field trip who all think he's a zoo animal and want to pet him. The adults are no help as they are busy taking pictures. What will the deer doctor do?
He's going to be very uncomfortable for a little bit. I mean, that hair is so plush and fluffy. It just needs to be petted by a million snotty, grimy hands that haven't quite mastered their motor control. So they slap and they grip and they pull, and the ground is all muddy, and it's filled with whatever those animals were doing in that muddy ground, and the screaming children, the flashes of the phones and the cameras, and he can't stand it, and he's just going to run away, and I don't know, then he gets eaten by an alpaca or something.
An alpaca? It's a very slow death.
It's a very hungry alpaca. Nobody's been giving me into those food kernels.
You mean he's not going to weaponize the children?
What did we learn today, children? Yeah. Conquer the world. And who are we doing it for? You. Very good.
Yes, I was going to say.
So impressionable at this age. Now go raid Mommy and Daddy's laundry room for all the detergent because I'm filthy.
Yes. Starline's new lot in life, educating the youth. Here's one from Crab. Maria is revived, but with a twist. Instead of being revived in the present, she is revived just after Shadow is locked in stasis, with a virus not being revived with her, hopefully. Now she's alive and on Earth. How's she taking it? Does she know or find out Shadow's fate? And if so, does she put that Robotnik genius to work to break him out early? If not, how does Shadow handle finding the old woman Maria in the modern day at some point? And is she more accepting of his protectiveness?
Now, there's a fun idea. Like, the rest of the Robotniks are just glad she didn't die to the Ark disaster. We'll gloss over however she got away from it.
Yeah.
But she's adamant that, she launched Shadow out of the Ark. He's somewhere. She has to find him. But with like zero support and Gunn stonewalling her, she spends the next 50 years searching for leads, working her way into Gunn, work it out from the inside. Fast forward to SA2, and she's going along with her lovely cousin Ivo. They get along so well because she needs them to. They find that sealed area, and he goes, "What was the password again?" She goes, "Maria." And the casket opens up, and Shadow appears all dramatically. And "You freed me, my master. What is your want, Maria?" Oh, this is awkward.
He recognizes her? What, from the smell?
Yeah,
from the smell?
He'd recognize her no matter how old she was. And you know what? She's a lovely person. We say she ages gracefully.
Okay. So is this what you wanted?
That's not how the conversation went, Shadow. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure you said kill them all. No. What did my grandfather say? You had a grandfather? Okay, look, something's happened to him. You said he was the key to taking over the world. Ivo, give me a minute here, okay?
Yeah.
She here's the thing, though. After 50 years and having to work with Eggman just to get in the door, is she kind of embittered by all this?
She might be.
Like, she spent her life unraveling this conspiracy. Maybe she, sets Shadow straight, don't destroy the world, but you know what? Gunn needs to be dismantled from the inside with violence.
Oh, boy.
You've gotten crankier in your old age.
Yeah. Well, you will too, Shadow. Don't worry. It won't take long.
This is what you wanted, isn't it, Maria? For everyone to have a chance to be happy? Most of them, yes.
Yes. And we got a question from DDR Master M. What would Sonic Boom versions of Lanolin, Clutch, and Arium be like?
Since everything's dialed up to 11, Lanolin is a very bossy tour director. Everyone signs up for a island getaway, but it's just a tour around Hedgehog Village.
Of course.
Itemized minute to minute. Clutch, he's just a gangster. Full on gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Marlon Brando gangster. And Arium, maybe a little less regal, maybe a little more playful, but I can't see her being that much different.
Nah, that should be, yeah, very, very similar. Would it be some sort of dream episode or something where she shows up?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe Eggman's concocted some kind of, dream device
Mm-hmm.
He watched Inception one too many times and thinks he can convince everyone to be his friend. I mean, let him take over the island.
Of course.
If he just convinces them in their dreams, and Ariam's there going, nope, my domain can't let you do that.
Nope. All right, Double L has a question. Hey, Ian, I just found out I'm moving back to Canada after being stuck in the U.S. for work reasons for far too long. I was wondering, is there anything you regret not stucking up on before you moved way back when?
Well, first off, safe travels. Second off, welcome home. Third, nothing that I can immediately remember. I missed Bojangles, that's for sure. I mean, we're not sponsored, but and the last time we went to the States, that was the one fast food joint that we went back to, and it's yes, this is mostly how I remember.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the others were just nope, not as good. Also, I feel weird saying this. I can't go back to normal Southern sweet tea. It's too sweet.
No, I mean, sweet tea in general is just kind of gross. I don't want it.
Well, I used to drink it by the gallon, quite literally, but it's too sweet now. They don't do proper sweet tea up here. It's always with lemon.
Yeah.
Nasty, nasty lemon. I hate it so much. So I brew my own, and because I brew my own, I control how much sugar goes into it, and I do try to cut back on that because need to.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten used to that, so now going back down south, it's this is so sweet, it's not refreshing anymore.
No, it's no. I mean, it turns you into Homestar.
Sweet. Howard, the bow tea, that overly sweet, feels like it's been sitting in the pot for a week. That's the good stuff still. That's still just the right level of nasty for me. Thank you very much.
No thanks.
But you can't really stock up on that. That's like you grabbed yourself a bow biscuit on the road.
Yeah.
Everything else is junk food stuff that you don't really be needing. You don't need to be eating it anyway. And
yeah, but it's delicious. Don't judge me.
And maybe, well, again, Showmars, it's a restaurant chain. You can't stock up on that. I do miss that though. But you can get pretty much anything else up here or something comparable.
I was going to say most products are sold in both countries, really. I mean,
and at least where we live, so many American brands are kind of popping up and taking over. It's it's like I never moved.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You guys have Raising Cane's yet?
Not yet. No,
not yet. Time. No, it will probably happen eventually. I'm sure it will. All right, and we got a question from me to Under Paragon. Continuing from my previous Chaos question, SA2's two-player mode has Chaos using Chaos Bind, where he uses his Hydrokinesis to freeze the air around his opponent. Sonic Battle has Chaos freezing an estuary, basically a mountain lake, instantly, and when he manifests because of the Death Egg. Also, you helped write Sonic Force's stress test, where Chaos battles Knuckles and Silver at the same time. So to reiterate, how would you set up an IDW story where Chaos and Shadow have a high-stakes battle?
Number 1, SA2 two-player mode, not canon. Number 2, Sonic Battle, fuzzy canon because it's got a lot of weird stuff in it. Number 3, that was a phantom copy of Chaos, and one of the first attempts Eggman had at making a phantom copy, so it isn't necessarily a great representation of Chaos's ability. So I'm sticking with my answer. Shadow trounces him.
All right. Many Hats has a question. Why did Sonic tell Tails he was sure they'd see Classic Sonic again? Did he forget Classic Sonic as himself? Is he stupid?
Look, it's the dude's birthday. He already spent it all day working. He just wants to get back to the party. And your Tails is over there being sad, and it's just eat the cake and have a chili dog, kid. We'll see him again. It'll be fine. Shh. Let me enjoy my freaking birthday.
The answer to the question is Sonic stupid is always yes.
Well, I mean, there's that too.
Which, don't agree with me. You're going to get in trouble. I only say that because it seems to annoy some people in the comments when I say it. So Sonic is stupid. Yes, it's true. Yes, please. I crave your engagement in the comments. Please leave your comments below about how I'm wrong.
I mean, everybody takes what I say out of context and gets mad at it anyway. Why even try anymore?
You might as well just lead into it at this point. Come on, Ian. Join the dark side. Moreless has a question. It's a dark and stormy night at the Bumble compound. Wait, this feels familiar. Anyway, Ian and Kyle, you're in the middle of a rousing game of Old Maid when a thunderous knock comes to the door. Quivering, you open the door, and standing there is Jason DeMarco, co-founder of Toonami. He wants Ian to be lead writer on an animated Sonic project for Toonami on Adult Swim. How would you go about adapting Sonic for the Toonami audience and format?
I don't know, just adapt the IDW series and give it to Studio Trigger.
All right, let's go. Let's do it. Easy enough.
I mean, you've got a solid enough plot line to follow, and Studio Trigger's going to dial every action scene up to 11. Like, imagine Adam Bryce Thomas's Neo Metal Sonic versus Sonic fight by Studio freaking Trigger. Imagine the Super Neo Metal fight.
I want it.
Imagine the crowd scene battles with the various Zombots.
Please, Ian.
Shoot. Just imagine the sequence in Evan's early story where, like, there's the forest fire and they've fallen down the waterfall on the log. It's Studio Trigger, man. Just go with it.
Please. Please.
Like, if you like the IDW stories, then you're going to love it. And if you don't, you're going to love the Studio Trigger animation anyway, so you can just watch it and not pay attention. It's win-win.
Yes. Let's go.
And it's anime, so it fits on Toonami and people eat it up. Go. It writes itself.
Yes. Pretty much. It's already written. Mixer17 has a question. If Surge was to break her leg or something, since I believe in equality when it gets Sonic bullied too, she broke it breaking Sonic's leg. Would her healing factor heal it up, even though she has an endoskeleton? Does the skeleton have some sort of auto repair deal going on? Or is she going to need to hope to God that anesthetics work on her with her healing factor? Because Kit's going to need to open her up and take welding tools to her bones, and it's going to hurt like hell if they don't.
That's morbid.
Well, so was Metal Virus.
Thing is, I didn't really put too much thought into it because we're never going to have, like, visibly broken bones in Sonic. That's way too graphic.
You're never going to break Surge's legs? Not even metaphorically? You're not even going to have her be told to break a leg?
Like, I was surprised at how much they were talking about Sonic's twisted ankle during Scrapnik. It's like, that's about the most graphic we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of the question, I would imagine that the inert metal virus that they have infused in them at the cellular level would do some kind of self-repair to the endoskeleton. That makes enough sense to me. I mean, this is already science fantasy mumbo jumbo anyway.
Pretty much. And our last question before I take a break is from none other than Noni. Why didn't they just use the Chaos Emeralds to revive Maria? Sounds like a skill issue.
I would imagine there's a statute of limitations on reviving the dead with Chaos Emeralds, although I guess we haven't really tested that, have we?
I mean, you're the one who could pitch it.
Ugh.
I guess since Elise wasn't there to kiss her, then...
There we go. That was the missing puzzle piece.
Yep. That's what we needed.
If only Elise had been born by that point. Sonic, get the time stones. Well, if we're getting the time stones, why do we even need to go to Elise? We can just go back in time and stop the shooting from Sonic. Get the time stones. It's Pride Month after all.
We're back and we got a question from Normal Person. The Wiggles are an Australian children's 4-person music group that are known for certified classics such as Hot Potato and Fruit Salad. So who in the Sonic cast would be able to wiggle, and who is the designated Sleepy Jeff?
I guess everybody can wiggle fairly well. I mean, they're energetic, colorful characters across the board. I did look up Sleepy Jeff specifically because he was cited, and apparently the reason why he's Sleepy Jeff is because he has no history in children's education. So it was decided he would be Sleepy Jeff who falls asleep during their sets because that was just the easiest thing to do.
All right.
And the whole thing is he falls asleep during a set, and then the rest of the group or the audience, or the children at home, yell at him to wake up. That's the gag.
Okay.
Which is fine for preschool, and I don't know. That's really funny to me.
That is pretty funny.
Do you know how to engage with children? No. I'm just going to pretend to sleep, okay? That works for me.
Yep.
That genius. Absolute genius. So, Shadow. Wake up, sleepy Shadow. No. That's not how this goes, buddy.
I like how he's supposedly sleeping, but he replies no.
Or since he's purple, big.
Sleepy. Sleepy big. Question from Onyxodon. Does Tangle have a country accent? I ask because Mimic calls her a rube and a yokel, which are typically associated with people from the country. Was she made with that type of voice in mind?
Nope.
All right. And we got a question from Pale. Instead of talking about cool superpowered hedgehogs, let's talk about some cool planet-destroying bounty hunters. Metroid Prime 4 finally got some footage shown off during the recent Nintendo Direct, and I believe I remember you mentioning that you've enjoyed Metroid in the past. With that said, how do you feel about Metroid Prime's story up to this point, and where would you like to see it go moving forward?
Finally, Metroid Prime 4.
Finally, yes.
I think it was Matt Herms who said the kids who saw the original trailer back, or the original announcement when they were in kindergarten are going into high school now, and it's like, ah!
I don't know if that's true, is it?
It's been a long
That can't
time.
be right. No, it hasn't been that long, has it? Holy crap. When did Metroid Prime 4 get announced? Hold on.
I think at least 7 years ago.
Hold on. 7 years. Okay. Hold on. Okay, if they were in kindergarten 7 years later, they're in 7th grade. No. Yeah, they're in 7th grade or 6th grade. Come on.
They're still preteens or teenagers.
Yeah, they're in middle school,
Okay.
but they're not in high school, not yet.
Still, the bobbies have turned into teens. That
Oy, terrifying.
It's more frightening than any Metroid. Anyway, been a long time since I played through the trilogy. Never actually played through most of 2 because it kicked my ass. But really love the feel and the scope of it all. Nothing will quite match the first time you step out of the gunship and look up into the rain on Talent. Was it Talent 4?
I think it is, yeah.
First game? Yeah. And just that initial piano sting, and oh my god. And the feeling of the immersion. And I remember the initial blowback when it was announced. Here we finally get a next gen 3D Metroid game, and it's first person shooter. How's that even gonna work? You just want to be the new Halo. It's like, no. They did it exactly right. And liked the phase-on thing throughout. Dark Samus, never really did much for me, but it was fine. I mostly enjoyed the logs that you find, especially the space pirates, and I think it's in the 3rd game when like the early entries are, we will stand fast and repel the invader, and get deeper in. It's like, we are really losing men, but we're going to hold fast. We believe in us. And the 3rd one's like, this is the end. We're doomed. And eventually they just swear fealty to Dark Samus because, you know what? She's queen. We bow. Or like the little things like, do not treat Metroids as pets. That's stupid. Don't do it. Like walking into the cloning facility that's low on power and all the Metroids are in containment. It's like, I'm going to turn the power off in this building, aren't I? It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. You're going to do this to me.
Yep.
What's this log say? Oh, these can actually phase through walls if they're not properly contained. Lovely. Great. Can't wait to throw the switch. Yeah, just really enjoyed all 3. And not that I'm not super into the lore, especially when it came to Hunters or Federation Force, but I know roughly about Silex. And it looks like they're actually going to pull the trigger on him now. Like, there was hints that they were going to build him up, do something with him, make him a thing, and just it never happened. And now it looks like he's the thing. And just from the trailer, and I'm reading too much into it, I'm sure, but from the trailer, it almost looks like he's going to be the Space Pirates counterpart to Samus. because he hates the Galactic Federation. He's got a Samus-esque design and power set, but he's his own individual, which immediately to me makes it more interesting than Dark Samus. It's like, ooh, what you gonna do? Why are you gonna do it? How are we going to interact? And I don't know. I'm excited. I want to see what they do with it. And after this long, I really hope they did it right.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Retro does with Metroid Prime now, because I don't know how many people are left at Retro from the people who originally made the original trilogy. So
yeah, I would imagine / hope that most of the team was involved with the Metroid Prime remaster, and in the process of rebuilding it, learn what made it work so well. And it's the best of the three. So if 4 is like 1, then we're golden.
Yeah.
Oh man, the first time you run into the Mama Sheegoth, and I'm like, that's a big fighting arena. I do not want to get into you, giant fangly monster. I'll take pot shots from here. And it starts stomping hard enough that you bounce forward into the arena. And it's like, oh no, you're smart.
All right. Question from Peacock Queen. What kind of dynamic would there be in a team consisting of Knuckles, Trip, and Ariam? Of the 3 Guardians, who would take the lead, and what could each one contribute?
I think Knuckles would take the lead because he's got the initiative, the confidence to say, all right, I'm taking command of the situation. Here we go. And Trip is like, yeah, okay, fine. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to get in anybody's way. And Ariam's like, yeah, okay. You do you. In terms of contributions, I mean, Ariam can't really exist outside of the dream world. And she has some influence over dreams, so she's kind of overpowered in that regard.
Yeah, just a bit.
Maybe she just kind of hangs back and lets the other two, do whatever they want or whatever they can to make them feel like they have agency within this. And then when things get a little too hairy, she steps in. She doesn't want to be rude. She doesn't want to ruin their fun or make them feel belittled. She'll just let them do their thing. And Trip can spit fire.
As she should.
Might be neat if her armor was used as like a invulnerability thing.
Yeah.
Like to get through hazards or something that you can't normally circumvent.
Something like that.
And Knuckles, I'm just going to fall back and say we need a Donkey Kong Jungle Beat game for Knuckles.
I mean,
a platformer where he runs around and beats things up.
All right, let's do it. All right, here's a question from Rabbit Haver. If we could look at the Google search history of each Sonic villain, what would each one's most recent top 5 searches be? Google also works in hell, so Starline could still be considered.
Eggman is looking up entirely parenting tips. I mean, he's a genius. He already knows everything.
At this point, yeah.
I mean, he coded the algorithm for his own Google. He's using that. Mimic is looking up various missing people so he can assume their identities for various nefarious purposes.
Yes.
Clutch is looking up cocktail recipes. Starline is looking up multiple religions and seeing what loophole will get him out of hell. Number 1 in the search bar is, can someone be isekai'd out of hell? And, there's surprisingly a number of manga right around that. All right, maybe one of these will help. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's going to pirate them. He's already in hell. What else is going to change? And Rough and Tumble start looking up, how to rob bank. But then that turns into like a deep dive into Wikipedia on like the origin of banks and the origins of currency and all sorts of stuff. And so they read all day on that and don't actually search for anything else.
Well, there you go. Anyone else?
Oh, Surgeon Kit, I guess.
Yeah.
Surge's initial searches are basically, the default sentencing for various misdemeanors and violent crimes. And then, has Sonic ever busted out of prison? Yes, he did. Okay, then she can do that.
Okay, good.
Kit's just helping her refine the search because she's terrible at it.
Yeah, Kit's not looking up his own thing. He's too busy. He's too busy helping Surge. I'm being reminded of the Deadly Six. Yeah. The Deadly Six don't use computers. They make them zap. They make them not work.
All they do is look up like cat memes.
Oh, or that.
Zor's really put out. Like, it's just like nonstop cuteness. He hates it. Can we look up anything else, please? No. Yes, cat has that cheeseburger.
Oh, man.
We've seen the same cat fall off the same ceiling fan 10 times ever. Can we please look up anything else? Very well. Look up funny dogs.
Funny dogs?
That one is acting like a person.
Funny dogs. That's just infinite. Question from Reckons. The villain cast of Sonic IDW are stuck on a deserted island and they can't escape because of reasons. How do they survive? Also, who's the first to get eaten and why is it Starline?
Well, because one, it's Starline, and two, Zamam doesn't discriminate.
Well, there you go.
And how do they survive? I don't know, because Zamam would gladly eat any and all of them. Ugh.
I think Starline doesn't survive.
Well, no, he's busy trying to like micromanage them. Everyone, listen up. This is how we're going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And Eggman just kind of glances at him, looks over at Zamam. Hey, did you know he's vanilla flavored? What are you talking about? Ah! And Zamam's looking Eggman up and down. You look like egg custard. And Eggman's like, yeah, there's an entire seafood buffet at the bottom of the ocean. I'm gonna go get it. Remember to breathe deeply.
Well, I'm assuming they can breathe just fine underwater because I mean, they can breathe in space. Well, I don't know about the Deadly Six. I don't know about Zeddy if they can breathe in space.
We haven't seen them in space. They're just high altitude, but
I mean, everyone else
any higher than Angel Island.
But everyone else can breathe in space.
Look, I'm trying to make a joke about Eggman tricking Zamam into drowning himself. Okay?
I know what the joke is, Ian. I'm just trying to poke holes in it and be pedantic like our listeners that we love very much. Thank you, listeners. Scurvy Pirate Hog has a question. Plot twist, turns out Maria's alive. Man, this is the Maria revival episode, apparently.
Oh, she deserves a break.
But not just that, she's also Sonic's biggest fan. She's got Sonic memorabilia, merchandise, posters, action figures, and she's got her own Sonic cosplay. She loves the blue guy and would love to hang out with him. It even gets to the point where she asks Shadow, why can't you be as cool as Sonic? How does Sonic and Shadow react?
I don't think she would say that.
But she would definitely think it.
Maybe once and feel bad about it. She wouldn't be that hurtful. She's mindful of her words. But she would totally ask if he could arrange a hangout.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't want to intrude, doesn't want to bother him, but, they hang out so often. We don't hang out. You meet up so often. Can you just get him, swing by and say hi for, a minute, maybe, please? Or besties, can you do this for a Shadow, please? I can't say no to you. And so he would ask. And Sonic would, so happily oblige.
Sonic would.
It's going to be a whole day hanging out. They're going to go get chili dogs. They're going to go to a concert. It's going to be the best day of her life. And Shadow can hang out too if he wants. No, thank you. Shadow, please. It wouldn't be the same without you. I can never say no to you.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Also, the mental image of Maria just being giddy in a goofy little Sonic onesie is adorable.
I know. What the heck?
Damn you, Gun. We were robbed of this purity.
Oh. Damn you, Gun and your guns. Rude. Sonic Sword Fighter has a question. How would Mephiles react to seeing all the fan art of him, from the mundane stuff to the more exotic art?
Oh, he'd love it. All these people just willingly opening themselves up to his corruption. Delightful.
That's what he wants, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all he wants.
Knowingly, willingly setting themselves up for horrible, horrible, twisted demise in the darkness. Loves it. Absolutely adores it.
Brilliant. Genius.
He finds it hysterical. Just line him up. Absolutely. He'll do a meet and greet. A defeat.
Yes, he's the one outside the window with the Sicko's shirt on. Yes.
No, it'd be more of a Yes, yes.
Yes. Spoiler 1001 has a question. We've seen the main universe hedgehogs getting caught doing regular hedgehog things, but how would Scourge react to being caught purring or hissing, for that matter?
Purring, I imagine he'd turn on just to charm on somebody. You know, oh, look how sweet and approachable he is.
Mm-hmm.
Hissing, I think he just does it in general.
I was going to say, I figured hissing was just something he does.
I mean, he'd call it up from the back of the throat to spit in your face while he does it too. Just
Yeah. That's just a Tuesday for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a normal interpersonal interaction for him.
He's an animal, baby. He can't be tamed. And Sonic's just like, I can't believe we're identical. I just no, stop it.
Those like, sharp teeth, fang things he's got going. No. Steph Cube has a question. I saw a post of a Sonic fan on Twitter that said that Paramount controls and owns the Sonic Cinematic Universe, and that it's Paramount's decision how they're going to develop all the characters and their interactions, and that they do not need the permission or approval of Sega, and that Paramount is not bound to any of Sega's restrictions on the Sonic characters. I know you don't work on the movies, but you have experience working with Sega and their rules, so I wanted to ask how valid this statement seems to you. Do you think it's realistic or nonsense?
Absolute malarkey.
I think it's a bit of like column A, column B as far as like
it's
how much control Paramount has and Sega has. Yeah.
Like Paramount is a movie studio. It is a vastly different operation than, a small comic publisher working with freelancers. They are working with numbers way bigger and influences quite vaster than anything we have to deal with in the comic side of things. So that gives them more latitude. But to say that they don't run anything by Sega for approvals is nonsense. Sega gives them more leeway to be sure, but that's because they're approaching a much larger audience with a much different direction for it.
Yes. And it's different people within Sega that are probably doing movie approvals versus approvals for other things too. So, and that makes a big difference. Just who you're talking to is make a big difference. So
also, it's movie Sonic. It's different than regular Sonic.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of latitude that comes from that as well.
Yes.
Kind of like how Sonic Boom was Boom Sonic. It's not regular Sonic. They can be a little goofier or do different things there.
And we got a question from System 509. Given the fact that both Peach and Zelda have recently gotten their own games, what kind of game would you like Amy to have? I'd love to know what kind of story you'd come up with for a solo Amy Rose game.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
You never played Batten Kaitos Origins, right?
I didn't know.
Okay. But for those of you who did, you may already know where I'm going with this.
I'm vaguely familiar with what the whole idea is with the cards and everything, yeah.
So it's a RPG with a limit of 3 party members, but the whole gimmick is the battle system is based around cards. And if you can link them up by value or suit in a certain way, it increases the effect of the battle cards you draw or whatever actions you're taking. And because you have a smaller party, it's much more focused on their dynamic and them as a unit and the story about them as they go through the world. So I'm thinking that kind of core idea, using the fortune cards, which conveniently will be purchasable in the near future, as the foundation of that card system, with the major arcana being like higher end attacks or effects or summons or whatever, and then the minor arcana being your multipliers, your 1 through, 10? I forget how it works out. The numbers to make other numbers get big. Amy is your principal lead, of course, it's her game. She's the most well-rounded. She's a good attacker. She's a good support at the same time. She can do anything. Cream is there as primarily a support unit. All of her actions are more about healing and buffing and debuffing. And then Gemerald is there as your primary attacker. He's all about just causing damage, but he needs the other two to not overextend. And it's about Amy and her friends going around helping people. Have it very much character driven and show why Amy is such a good person, that she goes out of her way to help other people, that she wants to mend rifts between friends and help estranged lovers find each other or admit their feelings, help people get over their quarrels or fears or whatnot, region by region. And Eggman's involved or some other villainous force so that there's something to actually fight, because she's got a hammer, she needs to use it. But really make it about her and that theme out of Frontiers of sharing her love with the world, where she just wants to make everyone happy and fulfilled. And that's a tall order. That means a lot of personal sacrifice on her end. That means a lot of work on her end, sometimes not even thanked. And how she is so strong as an individual that she can continue to do that, and then make the big message that all the positive energy she puts out in the universe comes back to help her in the final battle, where, I don't know, the demon Dream King shows up and eats away at her soul or something. And everyone's like, no, Amy is awesome. Amy is the reason why this entire island has found its peace and prosperity again. And she's rejuvenated, and you hit it with a lot of cards.
Yay.
But, make it character driven, make it interaction driven, and then really use the cards not as like a mystical thing. Don't have her turn it into a motorcycle or slap people with them. Have it be the main mechanic for the RPG battles.
Yeah, this sounds delightful, Ian. Please, Sega, hire this man again. Please. All right, Maida Gabura has a question. Who's officially faster, Game Sonic or Movie Sonic?
I don't think there's an official tally between the two.
Whoever you want it to be. The Oddly Roger has a question. Hey, Ian, any recommendations for beard grooming products? # not sponsored.
Right now I'm using, I think it's L'Oreal's beard oil.
Beard oil.
I don't pay too much attention to it, but get it out of the shower, a couple of splashes in the hand, work it into the beard, comb it through. Definitely makes it softer.
Beard oil.
I was hesitant at first. I don't like putting products on in general, but my beard is very wiry and can be a little prickly, and that's not good for interactions. So a little bit of beard oil, soften it up, make it a little smoother, a little shinier.
Beard oil sounds very masculine.
Depends on how you say it. Certainly if you drop an octave, beard oil, it sounds very manly.
Beard oil. It's good. It's funny.
But with any kind of product, depending on your skin sensitivity, test it out before you go whole hog with it.
Whole hedgehog?
Add a little bit on and see if it burns. And if it does, don't use it.
Yeah, no. Or just be like me and shave your face off. Wait, no, not your face, your hair.
But I'm not allowed to shave my beard. It's forbidden.
That's what I'm being told now, yes. You are not allowed to shave off your beard.
Last time I did that was, 10 years ago? Maybe more?
Yeah. And it did not end well for...
Age like 20 years. I have a bobber face.
And it did not end well for you, apparently.
I got more than one reaction of, what happened? It's like, all right, well, beard stays.
What happened? Why is your face like that?
Now, a couple of times it's been because there was a shaving accident.
Yeah.
I have one razor for just like general touch-ups, and then I have one with multiple heads for like very precise grooming and like major shaping. And just, once or twice I blinked or sneezed or hand twitched, and what was supposed to be a nice solid line became more of a barren patch. It's like, well, there's no fixing that. Down to the goatee it goes. And Elia's like, why? It was an accident. It'll grow back. Give it like a month. She's like,
You've broken the beard mandates. Stricter than the Sonic mandates. And we got a question from Thievius. Now that Shadow has a cool set of wings, do you think Shadow never used them after Generations because he didn't want to help Rouge carry Omega?
Also, # knowing smile.
Uh-oh. Thomas R. has a question. Do dinosaur Mobians exist? If so, is it limited to specific species? If not, do prehistoric fish count, such as the coelacanth?
I don't know, and oh, do I want that answered. Like, I have ideas, man. Are you kidding me? Combine dinosaurs with Sonic?
Yes.
Like,
Come on.
I would regress to 8 years old. I think I would physically change. The beard be damned. I would just be a child again.
Come on, let Ian cook. Come on. Come on. Needs to happen. Twilord has a question. Digimon is doing a Japanese fanfic contest. 7 to 10,000 words. Best original universes get published and translated. And they've got a no AI rule. Hell yeah. But as a writer who learned in their own franchise's fandom, any thoughts on if AI could really ruin this for skilled fans?
Depends on how closely it's being monitored. If you have whatever company or publisher who's running these contests that is not attentive, then yeah, I feel like AI, especially written material, can be competent enough or tweaked enough that it would pass without proper scrutiny. Now, if you actually pay attention to it, look at how it's structured, how it flows, the word choice, and the decisions made, I feel like you could still pick it out and go, this is not just awkwardly written. This is a machine. And kind of ironic in the case of Digimon, but it really comes down to how seriously you treat it. And if whoever's organizing whatever contest is not attentive and just does it very, lazily, then yeah, I can see someone being cheap with AI and stealing glory from those who actually do the work. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know how much AI has been trained on Digimon fanfic. That would be kind of the thing. Like, might have to train your own model, I suppose, of feeding a ton of Digimon fanfic into it.
Just shoots out a romance novel, but with a Gabumon.
yeah, something like that.
They're like, this is brilliant.
I mean, ChatGPT doesn't even write that long of a thing anyway. Like,
I don't know.
It always seems to just like end like very quickly. I don't know. Ultrasonic has a question. I don't know or remember if anyone asked, but are you aware of Archie Sonic Online, the fan continuation of the pre-Genesis wave of the comics? And if you do you consider it worthy enough to be canonical? I personally think it's really great.
I have heard of it. I thought there were like 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are 2. Like the pre-Genesis wave continuation and post-Genesis wave.
Okay. And I avoided them initially because I still held out hope that, maybe we could get something back or maybe we can move forward. Nah, it's not happening, but it's still fan material. So it's still generally safer for me to steer away from it, especially since it's still Sonic related. So there could be ideas in either of them that I find interesting and accidentally retool for regular Sonic. So again, I don't go into it myself.
Yeah.
I'm glad people still have the passion for it and that they're still, going forward with it. I did entertain the notion a while back to just, float a couple of scripts that never got published and say, here, oops, but they've already taken it in whatever direction they have. So who am I to step on their toes? They're creating, they're telling the stories the way they want to. Let them do it. Let them proceed in their own way.
Good. And our last question is from Anonymous. Sonic, Tangle, Whisper, and Silver head to Casino Night Zone. Next day, they have no memory of what they did, but soon discover that all 4 of them are married to each other, and there's no way out of it. How do they react, and what would an average day look like in this new life? I don't think anything would really change.
I mean, Sonic's kind of like, all right, see ya. And he's going to take off. I mean, you can't nail him down. I mean, he'll check in on everybody. Sure, he's going to be supportive as a partner, but he's not really going to settle down anywhere.
Mm-hmm. That's normal.
Tangle and Whisper, like, so what, are we double married now? How does this work?
All the way across the sky.
And Silver's like, what, people just normally keep it to 2 in this time period? That's weird. Thought it was rather chaste that it was just the 4 of us.
Yeah.
Look, in my time, there's 50 of us. We're really close in this community, okay? We all got married. Nobody was jealous.
Yes.
It made the divorce really ugly, though.
I guess Sonic is the kitchenware section of the store. It's all pans.
Oh, Lord. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Are we done here?
Oh, we are super done. Thank you to all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members for supporting us both with your money and with your questions. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Catch you later. Ribbish shake crystals. That sounds dangerous. Please don't charge your crystals while we're doing this show. Anyway.
Full of bad chakras or whatever.
Something like that. I was wondering, is there anything you regret not stocking up on before you moved your way back when? Before... I'm just gonna cut it off there. No transition to that break, just hard cut.
Also, we were making more of the Pride Month jokes in the last episode. Oh,
that's all right. It is fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. Here's a question from... Is this Pale or Paley?
Normally, Paley has lots of E's attached to him.
Okay. I think it's just Pale.
Maybe it's Pale?
I think it's just Pale. Pale as in you. Yeah, Pale is here. Help me, Pale. Or Paley. Are you Paley or are you Pale? Help me. Help me, Obi-Wan Pale. Paley. It's like the word pale. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right.